With Season 1 finished, I'm here to jump on into Season 2 of the Clone Wars. So join me as I continue to watch through the Clone Wars for the first time. Well, hello there! My name's Jeremy and welcome back to Freeform Disney, where I talk about all aspects of Disney, from the animated movies to the theme parks to Star Wars, Marvel, and Pixar, and the TV shows, and everything else in between. And that is why it's Freeform. And keep coming back every day for new daily content. If you're not subscribed yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Welcome back, my young apprentices. And even if you are physically old, you're still young at heart while you're here at Freeform Disney. I'm really loving everyone commenting on these Clone Wars videos as I continue my journey. And thanks to all of you for those great comments. And you're even helping me catch things I missed too, like how I already knew Fives, Heavy, and Echo before I saw them in Season 1. Note, because I'm watching in chronological order, they came in before. And I can't believe I missed that. And I'm really happy, Stardust Nation, that you went ahead and pointed that out. And everybody else, too. Really loving seeing your comments and, heck, the variety of what you all loved in the first season. I like how it appeals to all of us and in slightly different ways. And I certainly enjoyed Season 1 myself. So what do I think about Season 2? Well, here we go. So Season 2 starts off on a three-parter, the first part being called Holocron Heist. And right off the bat, we're over on Felucia. And wow, nice colorful plants in there. And we've seen this planet before over in episode 3 during the montage as well, but here it is in the episode. Nice. Spoiler warning, one of our Jedi dies over here on this planet over in episode 3. So we've got this whole rescue mission going on because things aren't going well and they've got to pull everybody up off the planet. And it was great seeing Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka and the choices they made down there. And heck, Plo Koon coming in to pilot and help rescue them. It was great. Love seeing Plo Koon pop in again. It's always nice. And Ahsoka defying orders? Learning a little too much from Anakin right there. Which seems a bit fitting considering how Anakin probably teaches. And, well, you learn from how people act too, so yeah. And then, well, before going further, let's talk about this. It seemed like there were new voices for a number of the characters, and some great new voices, and they were really well portrayed too, so that's also part of it. Not just necessarily voices, but also the mannerisms and the style of how those characters talk. So Yoda here in Season 2, heck, Mace Windu in Season 2, dang. And then also, heck, the graphics are so much better here in Season 2 versus Season 1. It was really impressive. There was just huge quality increases all around, whether it be the visuals, whether it be the voice acting. Even the music seems a bit better. And frankly, I just kept being impressed by how much more I loved Yoda's voice here. I love this Yoda so much more. Feels so much more like Yoda to me. So definitely seems like there was some budget increases here for Season 2 after Season 1 was successful. And wow, very nice. Very, very nice. Okay. Well, let's see, we had a quick cameo from Kit Fisto. I always love seeing Kit Fisto pop up, one of my favorite Jedi, so even if he's in there for just a little bit, it's still nice. Then we popped in some new people. We had Cad Bane pop up, Tato 360, little droid, and the Changeling. And Cad Bane's a neat villain. I like him. Definitely a fan of Cad Bane. And this is my first introduction to him. I think he comes in the last episode of Season 1, the one that actually pops up chronologically at another point in time, unless I'm mistaken. You don't need to tell me if I am, that's fine, don't worry. But yeah, I definitely like Cad Bane. Very cool. As we go later, it's interesting, I was actually sad to see our little droid get blown up. I mean, poor little Tato 360, I liked him. Oh well. Off he goes. And really, this episode was like this fun heist movie. Definitely enjoyed it. Good pacing, kept me engaged throughout it, seen all kinds of characters in there. Very, very nice. Oh, and then we had our Jedi who is of the same species as Greedo, their Bala Rapal, who had the Kyber Crystal, which had a record of every known Force-sensitive child in the entire galaxy, which can only be read by Holocron. Oh yeah, and they said something about it being in the Devron system. Now, I recognize the name Devron system. I can't place why the heck I recognize the Devron system. It must have come up somewhere. Maybe it was just a reference to the Devron system. I don't know, but there is just something about that is popping in my head, and I'm just not able to quite put my finger on it. So, before I keep jumping on to the next episode, again, I just gotta say, it is hard to put into words just how fundamentally different this episode feels versus the first season, in terms of its visuals, and in terms of the style of the writing, and the audio, and everything. Heck, even the details on the faces are so much better than season 1. And don't get me wrong, I still love a good bit of season 1. I'm not saying that somehow undoes that, because it doesn't. But wow, season 2, right off the bat, the quality. And this arc, by the way, off to a great start. One of my favorite episodes of the series so far. And then Cargo of Doom, the second part of it, also right, same on that par. And one of the things I noticed in Cargo of Doom is that, heck, even the battle droids' voices seem to be different, and they seem to be more intelligently used. Or at least in Cargo of Doom they do. And seriously, it's just how much better on how they're talking and what they're choosing to say. Oh, and then of course we murdered a Jedi, and yeah. Loved how they did that one. Felt scary a little. Nicely done. Droids on occasion getting some funny lines again. Always love that. I mean, I didn't see that happen until the end of season 1, and now, heck, here it is in season 2. The droids are actually amusing me on occasion. I mean, that's what they're supposed to do, but the way they were used throughout a lot of season 1 just didn't pull that off for me. Okay, Bane to the battle droid. You, stay here with the others and defend the bridge. We're defending the bridge alone? Against the Jedi? I hate this job. Yeah. Or them getting shot in a moment later, right? Oh, heck, how about the clone conking his head on a pipe? Got a laugh out of me right there. Great little reference to the clones just knocking their heads up on something above them, on a pipe, on a doorway, whatever. Loved it. The Zero-G fight was really cool. I definitely enjoyed that. It was a nice way to shake up the fights, do something different with it. Ahsoka, being as headstrong as she is, just running straight into a trap. I mean, hey, going right down the Anakin path right there. I did notice our commander seems to be a bit more of a straight man and kind of the no-fun boss than he used to be. I'm not sure what I think of that change yet. I mean, off the bat, I'm not the biggest fan of that change. I mean, he was a bit of that before, but he seemed to have a bit more to him. Now he seems to be playing more into that type. I still love him. Well, that's it. We'll see what I think as it keeps going. Oh, and I totally buy Anakin opening the Holocron to save Ahsoka. I mean, he's certainly not going to go let her die. If you know one thing about Anakin, that is definitely true. Oh, and to finish off the episode, I'm going to comment. I loved the moment between Ahsoka and Anakin, where Anakin really wants to chase after Bane, and Ahsoka saying, no, we've got to escape the ship, and actually getting through to him. Patience, master. And he actually stops and listens to her. It just says all kinds of nice pieces about that relationship they have, that she's able to get through to him like that. Now then we get on to the third episode, and what I found so far, I don't tend to find the final episode in the arcs to be the best. Now don't get me wrong, Children of the Force, the third episode, still quite good, but it's not up to the par of the first two. Oh, here's a fun one off the bat. Anakin with his hands behind his back after Bane escapes. That gave me some eerily, like, Vader vibes going on right there. It just felt like Vader after a defeat, say like Empire Strikes Back, for instance. So nicely done, show. Very nicely done. Oh, I definitely loved what was going on over there on the forcing the mental persuasion on Bane. Ooh, you know, Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Windu right there. It's like pushing those boundaries of what you should be doing as a Jedi, don't you think? Talk about the Jedi and their compromised morals, and kudos to the show for showing that and really starting to delve more into that. I also love the debate on, should we keep Palpatine informed? And, of course, Anakin popping up on the side of, yeah, we should keep Palpy informed. Whereas Obi-Wan and Windu say, screw that, internal Jedi affair. Back to just how much Anakin is getting a little too close to Palpy right there. Oh, and a much better Palpatine voice and mannerisms. I wasn't the biggest fan of Palpatine and how he was being portrayed in Season 1, but this definitely better here in Season 2. And Anakin and Palpatine together really gave me some echoes of the future right there. And really also showed Palpatine's manipulations. Nicely done. I will say the goal of Force-sensitive spy slaves was an interesting goal. Not where I thought we were going with that. I thought we were going more for just wiping out the Force-sensitives eventually once Palpatine takes over the galaxy. But I guess Force-sensitive spy slaves are cool too. Oh, and one last comment on Windu here. Windu in Season 1, he was a badass at the end, and he was fun in that sense. But here he is far more realistic and well-rounded as a character. And that, by the way, takes the cake for me much better. So definitely a great start to Season 2 with that 3-episode arc. Loving Season 2 so far. Okay, moving onward, and the next one is Bounty Hunters. And that is technically the 17th episode of Season 2, but the next chronologically. And right off the bat, that news blurb brought me all kinds of info right there. Which was actually pretty cool. Talking about world building and talking about how the Jedi are really stretched thin and worlds being left to fight on their own, and how they were establishing medical stations as lifelines, but they were easily attacked by the Separatists. Whew! And all of that just in a quick news blurb. Very nice. The news blurbs really do act as a nice way to be able to get some exposition out sometimes that can help us build the world. Rather than just telling us the previously on, here's it, what happened on episode 2, 3, and 4. I love them being used this way, really. So the episode Bounty Hunters. Well, we have an excuse that Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan are going together to go investigate what's happening on the station at Felucia. And, well, things don't go well because the Separatists already took out that station and have a defensive thing there that's going to blow apart ships, and so they end up going down onto the planet below because, well, they really have no choice. Kind of a crash landing, shall I say? Kind of. Oh, heck, as Anakin says, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Obi-Wan, almost certainly not. Love that interaction again. I love the Anakin Obi-Wan interactions. They're doing well generally in this show, and definitely love them. So this episode here is kind of one of those common cliche type things. You've got the village that needs help from the outsiders to go ahead and defend themselves against these aggressive people on the side. So the episode's nothing groundbreaking here. And that's what we do. So they hired some mercenaries and bounty hunters, and then our Jedi come into it. Which, hey, it's Hondu. Hondu's back. He's our antagonist for the episode. Good old Hondu. Interesting piece in here. We have this little section with Obi-Wan and getting challenged. Him being told, you're peacekeepers who can't keep the peace. And Obi-Wan going, the rift in the galaxy is not our fault. And then he blames the Separatists and worlds for standing up against them. Yeah, definitely you're getting a little corrupted being generals in this war, aren't you, Obi? And the Jedi are a little corrupt before that, too, of course. Too heavily tied into the Republic rather than the greater good, rather than talking about why the worlds are actually choosing to go a different way. It's just that they're standing up against the mighty, mighty Republic, which can do no wrong. Well, it might not quite be so true there. But back to Obi-Wan, who is your exemplary Jedi. He shows you everything about the Jedi as they are at this point in time. Blinded by your loyalty, you are. So I do love little pieces like this. But overall, not the greatest episode of the season, definitely not. But hey, if this is a standard fare level, I'll take it. Okay, up next we've got a two-parter of the Zillo Beast. Oh shoot, I don't even remember how to pronounce that anymore. You'd think I would. And you'd think I would have double-checked that before I started recording this, but I did not. So everybody, it's going to be the Zillo Beast. Okay, so the Zillo Beast. So we're over on Malastare in this case. Which, hey, another new world to go get to look at over in the show. You know me by now, I love seeing new worlds and getting to explore a bit of new areas that we haven't seen. So Malastare is home to the Dugs, a Sebulba's race, etc. Nice. And we've got this whole droid fight on there. We create this cool new weapon to go destroy them. It does, but then it opens up this sinkhole in the ground, and oh no, there's a Zillo Beast that we thought was extinct, that the Dugs had long ago killed. Now, the cool part is some of the stuff about the principle in here, because this is Windu and Anakin down there, and Windu is really standing on principle. He's not going to go kill an innocent creature, even if it will jeopardize getting a treaty. Well, Anakin, on the other hand, certainly is willing to sacrifice it, as is Palpatine. We've got a little bit of an ethical argument about whether the ends justify the means going on. I mean, ultimately, it was a decent episode. Windu was certainly enjoyable in the episode, definitely, and it was cool to get to see Malastare. So we move on to the next episode, the Zillo Beast Strikes Back. Now this one wasn't as good as the one before. Essentially we were using this as a big monster movie, shall we say. This was like our Godzilla episode or King Kong episode, take your pick. We've decided to bring the creature all the way back to Coruscant, of all places. And of course, Palpatine, being the evil guy that he is, orders the good doctor to kill the Zillo Beast. And what happens to the Zillo Beast? Well, of course it breaks out of the research facility and rampages around on Coruscant and endangers a chancellor in the company, goes through downtown Coruscant, shall we say, quote unquote. Again, it's a monster movie, what'd you expect? I really would love to have heard what Palpatine's full message is over on those screens. I'm so curious, you just catch these teensy pieces, not enough to make any real sense of it? Was it like something about the Jedi trying to get more power? Maybe the Chancellor standing firm? Maybe it's just about the Separatists? I don't know. It's hard to catch, and they're purposely making it that way, so I'm super curious. Ultimately, this episode for me feels a bit absurd, and kind of just an excuse to do a monster movie. Now, monster movies like that are not my typical fare as a general note, so it's not surprising that this one didn't work as well for me. If you're a big monster movie fan, you probably loved the episode. You probably love seeing him rampage through Coruscant. So don't get me wrong, if I ever say, hey, this episode really not my cup of tea, or I thought it wasn't a good one, that doesn't mean I think there's anything wrong with you thinking it's great. That's perfectly fine. We all love them for different reasons. And sometimes the same reasons, but you get my point. Oh, some of the other stuff I did like about it, though. I did love that we got appearances from Yoda in there and Isla Secura. That was definitely cool. Loved that as well. And clearly we're setting up an ending for a sequel to this episode at some point, considering we are ordering the Doctor to go ahead and clone the Zillo Beast at the end. Dun, dun, dun! Okay, let's move on. And this is Senate Spy. This is a big Padme episode, because we found out that, oh my word, there's someone who is a spy within the Senate. And Padme has this big history with him, so she doesn't believe it at first. And of course it's true. That's how this kind of an episode is going to go. Of course he is actually working with the Separatists. Now we do get some fun here between Padme and Anakin, because this is an old flame of Padme's that Anakin didn't know about yet. And so we head off over to that planet. Padme renews the relationship to go ahead and spy on him, and eventually ends up getting the plans for the droid foundry. Oh, but Padme gets poisoned. And then, hey, Clovis, our good old banking guild senator, does end up saving her because he loves her. The end. Well, maybe not the end for Clovis. We gotta leave Clovis up in the air as to whether he's screwed or not. Means we can bring him back when we feel like it. That way we can have some more fun with good old Senator Clovis. So, really, ultimately, I mean, it was a fine enough episode. I mean, it's nothing to write home about. It's certainly not a bad episode either. It served its purpose as a prequel to the next couple episodes. So let's talk about those. The next one, Landing at Point Rain. Now this is definitely one of the best of the season here so far. Love this. So we're back to Geonosis, because we're talking about how separatist planets are rising up, especially, remember earlier we were talking about the Republic being stretched thin, the Jedi are stretched thin, and they're just not able to hold everything together. So up comes Geonosis, because the Geonosians are loyal to Dooku in the first place. Or at least that's what we think is going on fully at first. There might be a little more to it later, but that's still true regardless. Now it is funny. The Jedi and our nice Republic friends certainly do love to act like they're liberating people from the Separatists. You tell me exactly what you're doing over on Geonosis, eh, there, Jedi? I don't think you're liberating anyone from the Separatists. These people want to go ahead and be that direction. You're just putting them down. But that doesn't work within your nice moral view of seeing yourself on the high ground. And you know Obi-Wan, he does have to stay on that high ground. Revenge of the Sith joke? No? Alright, whatever. We get Ki-Adi-Mundi having a big part in this episode. Nice. Give me some Ki-Adi-Mundi action. Oh, a piece I loved. Obi-Wan comments on the rivalry between Anakin and Ahsoka, which they certainly do have. But then later on proceeds to do kind of the same thing with Anakin while they're still in conference with the Jedi Council. The same kind of rivalry. Yeah. Back to Obi-Wan kind of being more of a brother to Anakin, shall we say, than a father figure like Qui-Gon would have been, right? So we're on to our second Geonosian battle. Got some cool stuff like how we found out Cody wasn't part of the original Geonosian battle. That's interesting. Nice little touch. Oh, I love the war paint on the side of the vehicles. Definitely helps make them more unique and makes me feel more like these clones are real people, shall we say. And this whole battle, I mean, it feels like the most raw battle we have had in the show so far. And that really helps to bring out some of the horrors of war. So that actually comes out here a bit. And I really love that. I'd love to see more of that too. Okay, let's go on. Oh yeah, Anakin. The little line there, great. The one time I actually asked Obi-Wan for help, he's nowhere to be found. I mean, there's just the pure emotion in that line as Anakin delivered it. The hurt, the worry, the grim determination, all of that. Beautifully delivered. Loved it. Oh, another thing I loved, just how injured Obi-Wan was. I mean, we tend to keep our main characters and don't let them get that injured. After all, they're superheroes almost sometimes. And it's better when they're more human. And yes, Jedi are humans too. Unless they're alien species. Well, they're all mortal anyway. Even if Yoda lives for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, you get what I'm saying. We're on the same page here, I think. Oh, there was a nice piece also. How about our good old Admiral and his comment about it being a planetary assault and not just one location? So often in shows, and Clone Wars is not the only one here, all kinds of shows do this. So often in sci-fis, we will treat a world as if it's one location. And so it was really nice to actually get just some little reference that really it's not just this one location. We're fighting a war across this planet right now. So what did I think about Ki-Adi-Mundi in the end? I thought he was a really nice, understated addition. He didn't have to be over the top or bombastic or anything else. He just kind of was him. And it was nice. So it was an impressively good episode. Definitely was a fan. Okay, then we move on, and this is Weapons Factory. A part 2 to the one before it here, because this was our whole point, was to destroy this weapons factory that was going to put out all kinds of droids and cause us huge problems in the war. So we've got to go take out Poggle the Lesser, or at least take down his factory. So in this episode, we get to have Luminara Unduli really pop in, and she's got her Padawan Barriss Offee. And now this is the first time I've seen her Padawan. Now I don't know if that's the first time other people have or not, but it's the first time I have here in this chronological watching. I mean, my first question, are Luminara and Barriss both the same species? They look like they could be, but I'm not sure. And really, this episode does a great job with Barriss. Loving Barriss as a character, and her interactions and camaraderie with Ahsoka work really well as well, so I'm definitely hoping to see some more Barriss after this. And yes, we will see her in the next episode too. But I mean beyond that, I'm hoping to keep seeing her as a character in this show. Okay, so early on, heck, we get this piece with Anakin interrupting and speaking over Ahsoka during her briefing. Now, this doesn't surprise me. I mean, this is kind of Anakin 101, even if it wasn't Ahsoka, but it's that much worse, and I think he does it even worse because it's Ahsoka. And yes, I love seeing the pieces of the relationships, even when they're not necessarily nice pieces, I love seeing them. And they're done well as a general note. Luminara had this great comment about Anakin and Ahsoka playing it really loose with regulations. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding they do. Oh, and it was a nice touch showing the injured actually being taken away from the battle. It didn't have to be in there. It wouldn't have probably taken away anything from the episode at all if you didn't show that shot. But I loved it. It back to just bringing in that realism in there. And also showing us a bit more of the horrors of war. Even if it's just a brief little thing like that. Oh, I was thinking during the whole little Anakin and Luminara piece there a bit. I was going, she outranks you, Anakin. You're sure as heck not on a par with Luminara, Jedi Master Luminara Unduli. Just saying, bud. Take a seat, young Skywalker. Something like that. There are other pieces, just the conversation sometimes. As long as we can destroy them faster than they can make them, we'll come out on top. I love your simple logic, Skywalker. Good times. I do have to say, the Padawans should have loaned the bloody bombs when they were discovered, even if it meant their own deaths. After all, the mission comes first, right? They have a lot to learn, I tell ya. Not that you'd ever see Ahsoka probably making the sacrifice play that easily. Not when you think there's any way out of it. Although, in the end, they do make the sacrifice play, but it's only once they feel there is no other way out. And frankly, that sacrifice was beautifully done. I mean, heck, it actually emotionally got to me. I mean, I knew what was going to happen, of course. They were in the super tank and fired missiles. And look, they're in a super tank. That'll almost assuredly survive this, right? So it's not like I didn't know where that was going to go. But still, they put that part of it together so well that it worked. And then I loved Anakin after that. Him with his whole, I refuse to let Ahsoka die, and the anger and fury that was under the surface in Anakin. that would have probably boiled over if he wasn't able to save her. Yeah, that's definitely Anakin. And I love how it highlighted his strong emotional attachment to Ahsoka. And this was another good episode. Okay, then we move on to one more here for this first half. So really it's kind of a two-parter, but this one pretty much turns it into a third, kind of. And it's also kind of a first half to the next episode. It's an interesting arc here. It's hard to really call it a three-parter or this number of parts. You can certainly say it's an arc. And if we take it all together, we could say that there's actually even a 5-episode arc. But they don't quite feel that way. There's definitely kind of a conclusion to where we were at the end of the last episode, and now we kind of move on. So the fact is, we didn't actually capture Poggle the Lesser at the end of the last episode, so we've got to go find good old Poggy. I'm going to call him Poggy. We're all about nicknames around here. I mean, there's a nice quick piece about the cost of war and the increasing frequency of battles. I always love these kind of pieces when they bring in the larger world, so we really get a feel for what it's like in their world. Sadly, Luminara gets captured. She gets to be our hostage that we have to go after and go save. And that's a lot of the role she serves in this episode. She doesn't serve a whole lot more. And I'm always sad when that happens, but c'est la vie, I suppose. So we bring in this Geonosian queen of the bugs. So we've got these funky little bugs that go in people's heads and control them. So it's not zombies, shall we say. Something like that. Zombie bugs in the catacombs because they bring back and animate the dead. So this is really a big old horror type episode. Oh no, zombies! Something like that. And so they've got to go in there, they find the queen that they didn't even know existed before, and by the end, don't worry, we've killed the Geonosian queen, she's done. But what about that whole Geonosian queen thing? That's a bit of a problem, don't you think? I mean, a little bit of Jedi hypocrisy. After all, think about Mace Windu in the other episode with the Zillo Beast. Mace Windu wouldn't hurt the Zillo Beast because it was unique, the last of its kind. But Obi-Wan over here in this one? Don't kill the queen, no problem. I suppose if it's directly an enemy, well, we don't care anymore about that. And I would expect Obi-Wan probably to have been on a similar page with Windu about the Zillo Beast. But that said, would Mace Windu have had a real problem with killing the Geonosian queen? Yeah, I'm not convinced he would have. Oh, and while we keep talking about the queen there, well, let's jump back a little bit earlier. The Geonosian queen talks to them and says, "You are the creatures that attacked Geonosia." Well, she's right. They did. That is certainly true about the Republic. They went and attacked them. Messy, isn't it? And Obi-Wan's response is just really telling you, well, you gotta submit to Republic law. Oh, the morals in here. What a mess. Obi-Wan. Well, anyway, I still definitely liked the episode. I'm not gonna say it was up to the par of the two right before, but I definitely liked it nonetheless. And hey, well, there we go, right? I mean, Season 2 off to one heck of a good first half, and definitely a big improvement overall from Season 1. There were multiple episodes in this first half of Season 2 that I thought were on par with the best of Season 1. And my, what a visual improvement Season 2 has been. Although, frankly, I will admit, guess what? You start getting used to it pretty quick. It's always funny how that works. You think it would be more striking, but you just start to get used to it so quickly. Also in my head, in my memories, you start to almost rewrite it as if Season 1, of course, had those great visuals, the same quality of visuals as Season 2. Screwy how your memory works, too. Even though I know that's not the case. Oh, and of course, it wasn't just the visuals. So much else in quality was improved on, too. The voice acting, the writing as a whole was definitely better. Definitely, I was loving Season 2 here in this first half. Now, next week, it'll be on to the back half of Season 2. And for a quick tease for you, my favorite episodes of the series so far are in that back half. Now next week, we should be back on to Monday for the next video. The Memorial Day video this week kind of threw things off a bit, especially with some of the difficulties there. But I'm not expecting anything happening next week, so it shouldn't be a problem. We should be back on track for Monday. And with that, it's that time of the episode where I ask, what about you? What were your first impressions of Season 2? Did you really notice the upgrades in the visual and the audio quality? Let me know down below in the comments. And thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a like, share it with others who will too, and don't forget to subscribe if you have not done so already. And I'll see you back here tomorrow for another new episode of Freeform Disney. Have a magical day, everyone, and may the Force be with you always.